I had noticed that some of the fennel plants in one section of the quick rotation crop beds were not doing as well as the others. At first, I didn't really pay much attention to it, figuring it was some issue with fertility or soil conditions. But when we finally removed the overgrown patch of chard plants that was occupying the bed right beside the fennel and transplanted in some kohlrabi plants, it was obvious that this dense planting of large chard plants had had a negative effect on the neighboring crops. There was a definite slope in the height of the fennel plants, with the plants closest to where the chard had been being really small and stunted, and the ones farther away were much bigger. The patch of carrots to the south has a similar area of stunted plants closer to where the chard had been 2 weeks earlier. And even the spinach to the north had smaller plants at one end of the patch, though it's harder to see now that we've started harvesting. Some of this could have been overshadowing, but it seems that the roots of the larger and more established chard plants had grown horizontally into the adjacent beds and were much better at picking up the soil moisture and nutrients. And some of the fennel, carrots, and spinach plants suffered from this competition of the more aggressive roots of their neighbors invading their space. Of course, there could be other things going on, but with the pattern of all three crops, it's obvious that the roots of the chard plants were causing problems. There is another patch of similarly overgrown chard plants still in the area, and with a little bit of digging, I can find lots of roots growing quite far out into the other beds. More watering, especially during the dry spells we had, and better soil fertility and perhaps some liquid feeding, all would have helped to reduce the impact. And these are things I'm trying to do more of anyway. But I think that this dense planting of more mature plants with such strong root systems is not so compatible with this planting strategy, where there is a mix of so many different types of faster growing plants at different stages of development, all growing quite close together. Especially when we'd rather have a better crop of fennel, carrots, or spinach, rather than even more chard that we're not eating that much anyways, which is why these plants got so big in the first place.